Hi, this is Bernie, your Uber elder. You may be asking yourself, how come this Bernie guy, who's an Uber driver, is spending so much time making videos about stuff? Uber is my latest form of social media. And in addition to it making me some money, and I like to drive, what it really does for me is it allows me to have a diversity of conversations with a diversity of people that normally I don't engage with in my life. You ever notice how friends and family, you tend to get into the same conversations, same topics a lot? Well, here, a new rider or group of riders come into the car, and I don't know where the conversation's going. And sometimes it goes places I really enjoy. I mean, I learn a lot of things, and I get to speak my mind on a lot of things. I'm careful because they're the customer and I'm the service provider, so I'm not going to overwhelm people. Well, sometimes I tend to do it a bit, but it's only when I think they have taken the conversation there as well to a deeper level, to a more political, philosophical, maybe even passionate level. So people, I think, rightfully so, say to me, Bernie, often, so what do you envision can be a future? You talk about extinction, you talk about collapse, you talk about radical transformations, revolutionary thinking. If you had to do the thought experiment, or you had to visualize what an outcome that was not apocalyptic could look like on this planet, well, I think it starts with the idea that most of us have our thinking decolonized. We're still stuck in the idea of owning property, acquiring property, taking control of stuff and competing with other people for it. That colonial mindset is so prevalent in our civilization, and I think I look forward to a time when we shed that. I also think that all financial deals and institutions that we have today get abandoned. The money as we know it now, the dollar and all of the exchanges throughout the world, all gone. Global commerce stopped. Even state and national level authorities get universally disregarded. All power winds up defaulting to the local, as in nature, the default is local, to each family, to each neighborhood, to each village, each town, each bioregion. A consequence is we've ended wars. We've disarmed all munitions. The soldiers have been brought home. No more exploitation of other people somewhere else. It has ended. The resource extractions for our own benefit have stopped. The water decisions that we need to make collectively are made from people within the watershed. No more drilling or mining, on an industrial scale at least. No more global trade. No more national boundaries. No more state government. Can you imagine that? I can. Populations of other species now begin increasing. Our permaculture ethics and techniques and designs, they are what are feeding us and making us coexist with our agriculture and the wilderness and the wildness that other species need. No more modern medicines, shorter lives. I would have died in my 50s. Less population. We wait way orders of magnitude less population on the planet. No more cars or trucks or even trains or planes or large ships. They all vanish. Big cities vanish. We have mostly sailing vessels again and horse-powered carts. We are biking and walking. In North America now there are 500 or so, again, diverse bioregions with subcultures forming and languages changing and the way they feed themselves being very diverse. Of course, there'll be no more internet, no UPS, no electricity, no cell phones, no TV, no gas lines, no gas stations, no gas tanks. The big dams are all being demolished. Canoes and boats are again being made by hand. Baskets are again being weaved. Maybe here we use our tule grass as our Miwok and Coastal Pomo did and taught us. We use local building materials, cob construction for our shelters, for our homes. There's no more private property ownership. I mean, this is part of that decolonization I talk about. No more ownership of animals or spouses or children. Or we don't own things anymore, even intellectual property. No more copyright, no more trademarks. All of that nonsense gone. Every person has the inalienable right to have shelter and a place to stay or be without needing to pay rent to somebody else. Villages share in the use of the land and the water and are self-governing. There's no more hierarchical classes, definitely no corporations, not even the nonprofits. All business is person to person. There is local money and barter, but there is real diversity among many different distributed localities, cultures. Yes, we'll have less longevity, but we'll have less population. We'll have less consumption. We'll have less mobility. We'll have less information. We'll have less comforts. We'll have less recreation, but we also will have a slower pace. We'll have more person-to-person FaceTime. We will have deeper personal relationships. There'll be more group efforts to get things accomplished that benefit many. Much more interdependence, extended families, and most of all, we'll have a future that is truly something that we can believe will happen. Anyway, those are my thoughts. It's important to me that we don't just give up on the future. And so even though I'm an Uber driver, I'm still an activist, I'm still an anarchist, I still want to make a difference on this planet, and I have a lot to say. So please subscribe to this channel. Check me out now and then. I'm going to cover a whole variety of topics that I believe have a continuity and an integrity, and there is a paradigm shift from global to local, from centralized to decentralized, from standardized to diversified, from industrial to indigenous. I see clearly how we can make a paradigm shift, first in our thinking, and then hopefully in our actions, that will be much more out of the box than the kind of tinkering of our civilization that I see now, that I see to be futile.